Hey, what's happening, people? Wyatt Hurts here, back with a little more Battlefield 4 multiplayer action, and we're getting it up here on the channel, and this time a little bit different. I'm going to do a little double shot here. It's 2 rounds in 1. You know, both of these, when I captured both of these videos, the end times on them were pretty short. I'm just playing, really, they're short because it's just that standard TDM, that default, that vanilla TDM, 100 tickets to win, and in a 32-man room, that round goes by pretty quickly. I can't imagine it, and I've been in a couple of the 64-man servers in just kind of vanilla TDM at 100 tickets, and it goes by in a flash. It goes by in a flash. I don't even think I got in, you know, I had actually selected my gear, and the round had ended one time. No, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying here. Anyway, I had a couple guys asking me, wanted to see some sniper action, wanted to see some recon action, and I'm sure a couple more you were hoping to see some of it soon. Well, I'm gonna deliver, you know, here we go. Now, I'm not great with the rifles yet, you gotta bear with me here. Like all things, it's gonna take time, fellas, and I could have kind of, you know, stripped my videos down, stripped my rounds down, pulled it on my highlights, but that would be doing you all a disservice. You all need to see the struggle that I have with these rifles at times. Anyway, both rounds are going to be with the Scout Elite. This round in particular, we're seeing a little bit of a new map up here on the channel. When I say a little bit of it, we're only really seeing the northernmost tip of this map. We're up here in a village on Golmud Railway. A great map. It had, this map in particular for me, when I first started playing the game, had some serious sound issues associated with it. You'd hop in a vehicle and your sound would cut in and out for the duration of the game, you know. Had other issues with textures not loading properly at times. And but it seems for the most part those issues have been worked out with a patch or an update that came in. I'm not getting the sound issues anymore. The textures still take a little bit too long to load up at the start of a game, but for the most part it seems to be, well, it seems to be running a little bit more smoothly now here at Golmud Railway, which is great because this is a great map. I know we're only seeing a little bit of it here, and for the most part of this map, or for the most of my time spent on this map, I'm just in here entrenched in this little building with my Scout Elite. But a really tactically well-designed, strategically well-designed map. Some of the rush battles that play out here and the conquest battles that play out here are a lot of fun, you know. But we'll get into all that in time here on the channel. We got months and months of Battlefield 4 content to come, okay? So we're just starting with the small things first, you know? Anyway, I'm not doing too bad here. Jawu, man, I finally understand what you've been talking about with these sniper rifles. I don't know if you've gotten your game in check yet, but I'm struggling. You know, I'm struggling at this point with these rifles, getting my shots to hit. Sometimes I pull out some great shots. Other times I spend a lot of time firing and hitting nothing. You know, hitting nothing but air and dirt. You know, so, and you want some blood and some bone in there in between. You know what I'm saying? Good. Anyway, let's take a look at the rifle. It's really, this was one of my very first few rounds using this Scout Elite in particular, and this rifle, when stacked up against the rest of the group, seems a little weak. I mean, with rifles, with sniper rifles, you're looking for range, you're looking for power, and both of those numbers, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, both of those numbers were lacking a little bit against the kind of the sniper rifle averages, right? But I'm not going to do full number rundown at the end of this video. I'll probably do it in a future video with the Scout Elite once I've become a little bit better with the thing, you know. Anyway, it's a pretty bare rifle for the most part right now. The only attachment on there is a rifle scope, 8x zoom on there. I'm rocking out these V40 mini nades, which are you know, have a smaller blast radius than your standard frag grenade, but you can throw them that much really far. Actually, you can throw them really far, and you can carry 3 of them. So there's a plus to it there. Anyway, a beautiful little sniper round. You saw the blind when some kind of explosion went off right in my face. I had the shot lined up, and I managed to put my target down. And then finally, I get that guy that was just peeking at the corner of that building before finally getting put down myself. You know, so not a bad little run in there. The round almost over at this point, but you know, I left my mark on the battlefield. A small mark, but I left my mark out there as I try to get acclimated to kind of the sniper rifle dynamics. Actually, the other attachment I did have on here is that tri-beam laser, which I turned off for most of this round just because I didn't want it shining in people's eyes and giving my position away. The only reason it's on there is because I unlocked it in a battle pack and thought it would look cool on my sniper rifle, but it really does work against the grain of what you're trying to do with the sniper rifle, which is remain concealed. So most of the round I had that shut off. The other couple of other bit of gear I had with that loadout was where I was wielding the C4, and I had kind of a really basic gadget, which is the motion sensor. I mean, it's almost ineffective for the most part. It's good for a quick read of an area. You toss it out there. It has a 24-second lifespan, and it will detect any enemy movement in a 25-meter radius around it, and you know, relay that information not only to your mini map but to your teams as well. So, but again, the lifespan makes it really ineffective. It's really just good for a quick sweep of a building as you're entering it, just to see if it's empty or not, you know. Okay, so an 8-1 there, not too bad. Middle of the field, pretty short round, as I said, but not a bad performance. Not a great performance, but not a bad performance with the Scout Elite. And now let's move into round number 2 on this this double shot here. This, what am I going to call it? The, what is it? Saturday double shot. I don't know, you know. But so we're going back to Flood Zone here with a little team deathmatch. And again, it's going to be the Scout Elite, you know. And and again, I mean, I have a pretty decent round, not a great round, not a bad round, but somewhere in the middle. But this was for the guys that wanted to see some recon gameplay get up here on the channel. And yes, I know some of you are also asking for Rush. I am trying to get some of that together, guys. I do have a couple of rounds, although they're individual rounds. You know, obvious with Rush, you have 2 sides to it. You know, you have the attacking side and the defending side. Unfortunately, the little bit of footage I have, one is on the attacking side, one is on the defending side, and they're not from the same game. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I will get. I mean, it's all going to come up here in time. You just got to give me some time to get things together, and really right now what I'm working on is just kind of upping my game so I can put on better performances and better understand the game so I can better commentate on what's actually happening out there. Anyway, a pretty slow start to this round. This is awful. This is bloody awful, and this is what I'm talking about. I mean, I kind of jumped the gun. You know, I missed a couple of those shots just blatantly, just from kind of being a little bit too hasty. You know, trying to go for the shot, and of course my enemy now, he's escaped me. He's and I don't get any part of this kill. I don't know if he falls somewhere over there, but I'm pretty sure he just gets to safety. Either that or one of my teammates puts him down, and I get nothing from it. I get nothing. No assist, no kill, nothing. It was just really me being impatient, jumping the gun, and just being off the mark with the rifle in this instance. There are other times where I feel like I'm hitting the shot, and it's just not finding the mark. It's not finding the flesh. But that right there, that was pretty slick. You can see right now, obviously, you should be quite aware now that I am wielding the canned iron sights on this weapon at this point. So I've spent a little bit more time with the Scout Elite at this point, and I do have a few more attachments unlocked for it. The last one that I have on here, so we're looking at the rifle scope, 8x zoom, the canned iron sights. As you've seen, I pulled in 1 kill with it already. The last attachment that I have on this weapon right now, that tri-laser beam is off, mind you, and but the last attachment that I have on there right now is the straight pull, and it's just not registering that I have this attachment on the weapon at this point. What the straight pull does is it allows you to pop a new round into the chamber without having to kind of unzoom the weapon, so you can reload it, get that next round in there that much faster, and kind of hold your target in your sights. You know, that's much easier, that much cleaner, and get that new round in there, and then hopefully put them down with it. And it's just not clicking with me. I think that prior to this round, I had just recently unlocked that straight pull and had put it on the weapon, and it just wasn't clicking that I had it on there, you know, so I really wasn't using it, you know, unfortunately. It did start to register right near the end where I noticed that I was actually popping rounds in before I was unzooming the gun, you know, before I was zooming out with the weapon. The last little bit, the last few changes from the previous round, I still have the C4, I still have those V40 mini nades. The one change, however, the motion sensors have been tossed aside. I have unlocked the tugs in this when this round had been captured. Now this right here, this was beautiful. I did get that sniper off in the distance, hit him once, put him into some cover, and eventually I hunted him down. You know, it was just a matter of time. I was going to be splintering wood until I finally hit some flesh back there, and I found him crouched in a corner, in a dark corner, and sent him to his next laugh. And I start spotting a few enemies across the way, and you can see, I mean, it's not awful sniping, but I'm rushing the shots. You know, often I'm rushing the shots. I'm just, and sometimes I'm being a little bit too hesitant with the shots. And right there at the end, I mean, that guy, as he was crossing that wooden plank, that makeshift bridge, and jumping my one round, you know, just before I get to I get surprised in the back. I'd been ignoring my tugs, my tactical, which stands for tactical unattended ground sensor. It works much like that motion sensor did. It has a 25-meter radius. It's stationary. It sits there, and the one difference, the big difference between that and the motion sensor is that it will have an unlimited lifespan until it's actually destroyed, or until you pick it up, or until you drop another one. You know. And not only does it last, I mean, you saw me just drop it right there. Not only will that sit there for the duration of my lifespan, so long as it's not destroyed, it will remain there even through my respawns and into my next lives until I drop a new one. You know. So it's useful, quite a bit more useful than that motion sensor I was wielding in that last round that I had up here in this double shot. So, where are we now here? Now this location, this was another reason I want to get this video up here. This is a great little location. I had mentioned in the previous round here on Flood Zone, the last one, where we had that silenced AEK-971, that there's this kind of beautiful chaos up here for us to do battle in, and it really is, and this really showcases it right here. I mean, you're really exposed out here, but looking at kind of the where all the trees are placed, they're placed strategically to not overpower this position, but also to give you a little bit of cover for more advantageous positions. Take note of that rooftop to my left, you know, at about my 10 o'clock right now. I do descend down here. I will get back up here in time. I'm watching my radar. I'm watching my mini-map, and I see that there's some activity in this stairwell, and here I go, pistola in hand, looking to quell this assault quickly, and I do. I put them both down. The second guy took a little bit more, you know, a little bit more work. The first guy was a little weakened, so he'd obviously sustained a bit of damage on his entry in here into this stairwell. Now, heading back up here, I swap over to Canada Iron Sights. I do see a little bit of activity out here. I come peeking around the corner, and boom! Put that guy down really quickly. So a great little, with a headshot too, a great little close encounter there with the Canada Iron Sights on my Scout Elite, putting down enemies. So I enjoyed that little run through there. So this location right here, if you remember that last video I did on Flood Zone, if you following my stuff, you remember I had posted up across on the other side of the rooftops. I was talking about, spent a lot of time up there on those upper levels, just across the way to about my 3 o'clock right now, you know. So this works, this area right here, so long as your cover is maintained, it hasn't been destroyed, explosively taken down. This area works as a great counter location to a lot of different areas, you know. And again, here's what I'm talking about with those trees, perfectly placed to give you a little concealment, at least visually, not solid cover, but visual cover from those upper rooftops, you know. So I highly recommend, if you're playing this game, if you find yourself in Flood Zone, if you're looking for a pretty good location to try and exploit, to try and run a patrol around, to try and post up on, I recommend that location right there. You know, you can probably do a lot of damage from there, and it's really centrally located for the most part. And if you have a weapon with range, it's even that much more centrally located, because you have great lines of sight across the map for the most part from that location. And with a little bit of movement, you know, I'm sure you'll find ways to get around those trees, you know, to find better lines of sight on areas that are perhaps populated by the enemy at that time, and just by moving around the area a little bit. There's some great lanes, some great. The thing about this map is the more you play it, the more you uncover these little, you know, these little traffic lanes, these little areas that you weren't aware of the first time around. And that's again reinforcing what I had said about this kind of beautiful chaos. It's almost like this ordered chaos up here, and the more time you spend here, the more it becomes less chaotic and more ordered, and you get your bearings up there, and you become much more comfortable on those rooftops. Anyway, a pretty solid round for me there, again with the Scout Elite. Not a super great performance, but not a horrible one. And hopefully with time, I'll really get that, I don't know, these sniper rifles under control. Again, it's a lot of hit and miss at this point. I'm just trying to figure out the kind of the weapons dynamics, and I'm pulling the trigger at the wrong times. You know, just not quick enough, just not lining up the shot, just not accurate enough at this point. But so hopefully, again, that will change with time. The more you do something, the better you should get at it. I mean, but often I'll tell you guys, sometimes I feel like the more time I spend on Battlefield 4, the worse I'm getting at it. But anyway, a 9-2 is certainly a respectable round. I'm sure they weren't all kills. Some of it was accumulated assist points. I mean, you get that with the sniper rifles, right? You pop a bullet into a guy, you spot him up, and your teammate finishes him off. And that's just the way it goes, at least with me, because I do quite a bit of spotting for the team, or at least I try to. So an 8-1 in Golmud and a 9-2 here on Flood Zone. I thought these were a couple of decent rounds. I'm not going to do that full numbers rundown for this Scout Elite, not yet anyway. I do have another small round with the Scout Elite on Zavod. And I may get that up tomorrow. Maybe we'll make it a Scout Elite weekend here at Wyatt Hurts Games on the channel. Maybe I'll get it up there. It's a little bit longer. It's a standalone round, but again, it's only one of those 100. It's a kind of a TDM default, a vanilla TDM, 100 tickets to win round, and it came in clocked in about 9 minutes. So I may bring that up tomorrow. I may do if I do bring it up tomorrow, I may put the Scout Elite numbers on that video at the end. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was just to kind of answer the call from a couple of guys that wanted to see some sniper rifle, some recon action up here on the channel. I'm not the greatest yet. I probably never will be the greatest, but I'm hoping to certainly improve. And you can see, I could, like I said, I could have stripped this down. I could have stripped down my gameplay, just throwing in a bunch of highlights. But I wanted you guys to see I'm struggling with these rifles at times. And Jawu, man, I certainly feel for you. I don't know, like I said, I don't know if you've gotten your game, your sniper rifle game intact yet or together, but I'm still working on mine and trying to figure out why these shots are missing when they look like they should be hitting. But as always, guys, thanks for stopping by. I should wrap it. So thanks for tuning in. Always appreciated when you come over here and check out my videos. Hopefully you'll leave a like, a comment, or a sub to the channel if you're new around here and you haven't already. And until next time, remember, Wyatt Hurts. Later.